You say your name right now.
Denise? D-Nice?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. I've noticed that Antonio Brown has found yet another sucker to take him on. God knows we've already done Pittsburgh's dirty laundry. I'm curious about one thing. Do you think that he'd be welcomed back as easily in the league if he were going back to Bill Belichick and the Patriots? In other words, you think that he'd be welcome back if he were going to make New England a better team, or if he's going back to Tom Brady?
Armchair. We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Well, what do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but then...
Hold on. Trey Sean, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the Whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special teams, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love.
Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill. Bill.
Fine.
Bill. Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill. Yeah, Bill. You, Bill.
All right, let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Trayshawn comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be there it is. Another
Armchair.
I said it like 4 times, so why didn't you say it the first time? Because it's pronounced Aaron. Son of a...
Armchair Quarterback Radio is AFC South country, all NFL season long.
They hand it off for Ned. He's driving, and he's in for the touchdown. Drive starts at the 1 and looking for a little breathing room, and they get that in plenty more. Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds. He might go 99 yards to the touchdown. Unbelievable. 2nd and 10. Empty set. Walk downfield. And that is Hilton again. First and goal. Ebron. What a year for him. Eric Ebron. Touchdown. Goal. Slant. Caught. Touchdown. Marquise Lee. And he punched the ball into the stands. Deep. And he's got it. Cole. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Stay locked in to the AFC South on Armchair Quarterback Radio.
I don't return fruit. Fruit's a gamble. I know that going in.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
The Armchair Quarterback's on YouTube Live. SEC, ACC, and Big Ten coverage like no other. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to 50.
Pop stars with auto-tune.
Yeah.
And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Saturday mornings this NFL playoff season, the Handicappers are going live on the Armchair Quarterback's YouTube channel. A true NFL kickoff show without all the fluff. We'll talk all the big stories, points against the spread, over-unders, player props, plus your DFS advice. That's the Handicappers, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, Saturday mornings, 90 minutes to get you ready for your NFL weekend.
Take the road less traveled in the newly redesigned Hyundai Santa Fe. With available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you get off the beaten path a little further together. And intuitive safety features that can help you see what's waiting around the bend. Plus, with generous room for 5 and comfortable available Napa leather seating, you can go for more drives as a family without driving each other crazy. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
The Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
CBS Sports Radio, your home for all things sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, coast to coast. Great sports talk expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
How close were you to signing with the Yankees after the 92 season?
Oh, I was there. I went there to sign with the Yankees. I mean, I was shocked. I didn't get offered a contract. I mean, I went there. I mean, it's not college. I didn't go there just for a recruiting trip. I mean, you kind of go there to sign the contract and everything. And, had the nice day, went around, went to a show, went to dinner. And, they said, we'll be in touch with a contract offer. And I've heard bits and pieces over the years, but I don't know who it was. But some of the higher ups, one of the guys had a heart attack. And that's why I wasn't made an offer. And Gene Michaels was the GM at the time. Steinbrenner was out of baseball. He was suspended, I think, at the time. And whoever was calling the shots then, I don't remember who it was, apparently had a heart attack. So I didn't have a contract offer. So I got on the plane, went home. We had a layover in Chicago. There were no cell phones then. Okay. So it wasn't like you can just, use the phone whenever you wanted. And I remember landing in Chicago and calling Scott, and he said the Braves were able to make you an offer, which originally was the team I wanted to go to earlier before I went to New York, and they weren't able to trade a player and have room for me. So then I was off to New York to go play there. And for some reason they came in with an offer, and I told Scott, do your Boris stuff, and I want to play in Atlanta, and hopped on the plane. And 3 hours later, I landed back in Vegas and had an offer from the Braves, and never officially received an offer from the Yankees.
It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
And this is why nothing will ever get better in this country. Because companies hijack like they care to sell you stuff. Like M&M's, who just announced that they're updating their mascots to represent a more dynamic and progressive world. Who is this for? Because the people who are actually concerned with the orange M&M's anxiety issues don't even eat M&M's. They're eating some plant-based that costs $27 and tastes like pants. They're shopping at Sprouts or Whole Foods where everything's brown. You think these college kids are just gonna stop protesting GMOs because you changed the pronouns on a fictional talking piece of candy? Half of them can't even have peanuts anyway. You want to be on the side of progression? How about you start with taking titanium dioxide out of your ingredients? Seriously, look at the back of a bag of M&Ms. It sounds like instructions on how to make meth. Oh, but don't worry. The green M&M is going to switch to sneakers to feel more inclusive. Oh, thank God. She's going to wear the Stan Smith Adidas. What is she, a casting director at True TV? But we are meeting the demands of a changing society. Oh, so there's no more pesticides in the peanuts? No, those are still there. But the blue M&M is non-binary, so that's pretty lit.
Amazon Prime members now get free grocery delivery with a minimum order. You'll get your groceries with 2-hour delivery. So in that time, you can finally figure out where the biblioteca is, learn how to play the acoustic guitar, and I guess get a puka shell necklace. Do a makeup tutorial, but realize halfway contouring is hard, and you're beautiful just as you are. Whatever it is you're doing with your time, your shopper will be carefully picking out your favorite organic meats, produce, dairy, and snacks while providing contactless delivery to your door. Free 2-hour grocery delivery, now with Prime.
Make 2021 your year. Learn with purpose with the Great Courses Plus. You'll have unlimited access to enlightening, engaging, in-depth video and audio courses on hundreds of topics taught by incredible professors. And you can learn anywhere, anytime with the Great Courses Plus app. What purpose awaits you? Find out today with a free trial. Sign up at thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio. Remember, thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
If you get cleaned out at the casino, get a cash advance from your credit card. Be a man.
Are you ready to go?
Go where?
We are going to we have an appointment at 5, remember? To
For
get
what?
our names tattooed on each other. Are you ready to go?
And you didn't, whoa. You didn't tell me about this?
I thought you knew.
Wait, where are we going?
We're going to get our names tattooed on each other. You're going to get it like right across your knuckles.
No, I'm not.
You're going to get like my whole name on each finger.
No.
Why?
I'm not getting you tattooed on me. On my fingers? On my arm? On my wrist? Nowhere.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because.
Because why?
I'm not getting it
I'm with you forever.
That's fine.
Okay.
And we're not getting each other.
So why don't you
You're not getting my name
Yes,
tattooed
I am.
on you.
I'm getting it right behind my ear. So it can be hidden sometimes.
And
but
I'm
yours aren't allowed
I'm getting
to be
it
hidden.
right nowhere.
That's rude. We're going.
Armchair.
Welcome to the Handicappers, your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football, year long, and your DFS payouts. True Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers. Welcoming in Bobby the Kid with Joey and Tones Areola with Stephen Troche and Sean O'Toole on the way. With your host, Mac McGee. Welcome to the Handicappers. Good morning. How the hell is everybody here on Football Saturday? We are about to start the best weekend of NFL football. You got the divisional matchups. You got the Bengals and Titans at 4:30, 8:15 tonight. You've got 49ers, Packers, and then it's Bucs, Rams tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern, 6:30 tomorrow night. Bills and Chiefs are going to finish it off. And welcoming into the show, Mr. Tones Areola. Tones, how are you, sir?
Good, Mac. You know, anytime your dog's still in the fight this late in the NFL season, it's exciting times. We only got 8 of 32 teams left. It's the best of the best. Time to put the toe to leather, get some big boy pants on, and play some smash mouth football here in January.
And someone who does not have his big boy pants on anymore is a Colts fan, Mr. Joey Areola. Joey, how are you, sir?
Very good, and looking forward to these games. I will be jumping on the Tampa Tones wagon for the rest of it, but for now, I'm going to really enjoy today and take in the show that we're going to see with the final 8.
We will invite you on to the Tennessee Titan bandwagon. Come aboard. Come on in.
I like you, Mac, but not that much.
Right. We are proud to be broadcasting in 4 new areas this morning. We are in Southern California, so we will get to your Rams talk. We are in Middle Tennessee this morning, so we will get to Titans talk, and we are in a couple of stations in Florida, so there will be Buccaneers talk as well. We're going to get to all the games. We're going to get to everything going on. But before we get to the breakdown of the Bucs and the Rams, which that's the most intriguing game to me this weekend, as far as the matchups, who's going to be healthy, who's not going to be healthy, and whatnot. Before we get into that, excluding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because we've got people listening out in California, all over the world. We'll get to your Bucs in a second. Tones, give me your 3 guys this weekend. They're going to be the biggest keys to winning their games across the board.
You made me double my list. You know, a guy like me would have had all Buccaneers trotting out onto the field. But
yeah, we're trying to get you to try some vegetables, not just eat candy.
But I was told circus peanuts are fun. Come on. No, but for real, the 3 guys I got my eyes on this weekend.
I bet it's nauseating listening to him all week just talk about the Buccaneers. Joey, tell us what it's like, man.
I actually talk all NFL. I try and talk all sports, really. I chop it up because my office partner, he's sadly a Chicago everything fan. That's sad soul. So, you know, we got to talk about the good and bad in sports. But my top 3 guys who are non-Bucs heading into this weekend, number 1 is Joe Burrow. And I think the weather in Tennessee, being as mild as it is, it's not too chilly there. It gives Joe Burrow the chance to throw the football. And that's the only way the Bengals win this game to me, is if they're able to establish some air momentum with Joe Burrow. You know, T. Higgins, Boyd, and obviously Jamar Chase have been his golden boys this year. And along with CJ Uzama, he's had a pretty good year as well. If the Bengals want any chance to win this game as they go into the vaunted Tennessee area, they need Joe Burrow to throw, and this weather helps him. I think it'll be around 40 degrees game time.
That's what they're saying right now. Currently in Nashville, it is 25 degrees. So I guess it's going to warm up a little bit. But,
yeah, and I think the warmer it gets, the more it helps the Bengals, because obviously Tennessee they're so built to just run the football, play smash mouth defense. Although it'll be a good game. I like Joe Burrow as one of my guys to watch out for this weekend. He's a young guy, has a lot to prove. Comeback player of the year potentially. We'll see if he could continue his Cinderella type season today. My next man on the list playing in tonight's game in the cold tundra of Lambeau Field, I got George Kittle to keep an eye on. Deebo Samuel's going to be getting all the attention from the Packers defense, deservingly so, right? Because he could run the ball, he can catch the ball. He called himself a running receiver the other week. I mean, we're starting to see this more and more in the NFL with guys like Debo and with guys like Cordero Patterson. So I think the Packers are going to over prep for a guy like Debo, and I think George Kittle's going to have couple lanes to run open in. It's going to be really cold tonight in Green Bay. So, you might not see too many deep passes, which will open up the underneath stuff for Kittle. And you best believe in the red zone, San Fran's going to be looking to get Mr. Kittle's hands on the football. That's my second player to watch out for this weekend. Then my third, I just realized I picked all guys playing in today's games. Welcome back, King Henry. I got Derrick Henry to keep an eye on as well. Very important piece to the Tennessee Titans' success. Through the first 8 weeks of the year when he was healthy, he had double the rushing yards of any other running back in the NFL, dang near. So this guy is the best running back at running the football purely in the NFL. He'll get his chance to prove that today with Tennessee. He'll be the main factor if Tennessee moves on or not. If Derrick Henry looks fresh, if he's able to run like hell, like we're used to seeing, I don't think Tennessee has many problems. But if Henry comes out looking a little banged up, a little slow, that'll open the door for Cincinnati Bengals. So I got Burrow, Kittle, and Derrick Henry to keep eyes on. I guess all today's games, didn't pick anyone in tomorrow's.
All right, Joey, what say you? Give me your three guys.
Yeah, and my first guy is actually going to, be the link to George Kittle, and that's Jimmy G. He came into the week with the finger, the thumb, and the shoulder, but he's still going to play and suit up. My issue is with the cold tonight. I want to see those throws because he's not going to have to make a lot of them, but you're going to have to get 3, 4, 5 big time throws where you complete first downs against the Green Bay Packers. Last week we saw when everything was going well, things, were going along for San Fran. Then all of a sudden he throws that interception with the high loft. How will he handle it today in the cold weather if they find a way to somehow limit that running game? I think that's going to be huge because, as I alluded to, coming in with minor injuries, nothing setting him back to miss a playoff game. That's my first guy there. Number 2, I'm actually going to go to tomorrow's game in Tampa Bay and take Cameron Brate. And here's why. The the LA Rams are going to be taking their top defenders, Ramsey and others, and be looking at Evans and Gronk. The Bucs tomorrow don't do what Arizona did. Let's not try to get fancy and go deep. Use the short game. Use your tight ends. Use the running backs, check downs. Cameron Brate will be a big part of that. I think he'll find the end zone once as they try to limit the guy in front of him being Rob Gronkowski. So look for Cameron Brate to do some damage here in the dink and dunk game and get in the end zone. And then my third guy also builds off of one of Tones' players, Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. To me, the only chance they win today is if those two have one of the few weeks they did earlier in the year where in fantasy they just popped off and led their teams to big wins. One of those being the Ravens games, one of those being the Browns games, and a couple of others. If Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow could be over 100 yards and get in the end zone, to me, that's really the only way in a high-scoring battle they would take over the Tennessee Titans. So Jimmy G, Jamar Chase, Cam Brate.
I feel across the board, and I've seen it all week long, the Tennessee Titans just aren't getting enough respect. And I think they're going to wear that as a chip on their shoulder. Everyone seems to be on the Joe Burrow bandwagon, and everyone's jumping aboard the feel good train, so to speak. They're pulling for the new young kid, and I get that. But people just have not given the Titans much respect, and I really think they're going to lay the hammer on them today. I think you're going to see them bully them. And the guy that is most important to me in that game is Simmons. Simmons is going to wreak havoc and have not only will he have Joe Burrow running for his life, but he will cause so much unrest on that on the offensive line of the Bengals that the rest of the Tennessee Titan defensive line is going to. I think Tennessee has a huge advantage on the offensive line and the defensive line, both sides. And I really believe Tennessee is going to be able to. I'm not convinced that they're going to win next week, but I do believe that unless they get a case of the dropsies and the fumbles, which Tannehill has done in the past, but like Tone said, it's mild weather, so that shouldn't be much of a factor today. I believe I believe that the Tennessee Titans are going to win this by double digits. Now, there might be a late score, that makes it look a little closer, but I see late in the game where Tennessee's up by about 10 points playing prevent defense. I hope I'm right, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle, down to the wire.
When Justin and I gave 2-point games yesterday, he said you'll have a heart attack if that's the case. So
yeah, the phone's going off at 2 o'clock Eastern time because Florida State's playing a basketball game right before the Tennessee Titan game.
Nice.
So I'm shutting it down at 2 o'clock Eastern today. I'm going to get the whiskey going, and we'll see what happens. And I hope I'm somewhat coherent for the Green Bay game. I am recording it just in case. I have a funny feeling I'm going to wake up around 3 a.m. and what the hell happened?
It's not halftime.
You mean we lost? We're up by 7 last time I looked. So I got Simmons as one of the big guys that I think makes a big difference. My other big guy that I think is going to make a big difference in these games this weekend may not play. Doesn't look like he's going to play. Wirfs not playing will be a big difference maker in that Tampa Bay game. If he doesn't play, I got the sneaking suspicion that the Rams have a puncher's chance in that game, and a real puncher's chance. I don't think this is going to be the dismantling of the Rams that I think a lot of people expect, because it's Brady and it's the playoffs. A lot of fans get stuck into the mindset of they look at the skill positions and they don't pay enough attention to the offensive and defensive lines. And Tones can attest to you, and we're going to get into that game here in just 1 second. Brady was under duress the moment Wirfs came out of the game. And that was with the freaking Eagles. And the Rams have a much more formidable defense, especially up front, than the Eagles do. And so I think they're going to throw a lot of looks at them. I'm very excited for this game because I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be up and down the field. I don't think this is going to be any kind of look. People might actually get bored in the Tennessee Cincinnati game, because you're going to see Tennessee try to take the air out of the ball, and I know that's not what people want. It might be the same situation you talked about Deebo Samuel with San Francisco. Although I think with Aaron Rodgers and company, it'll be hard for them to take the air out of the ball being at home. But those are my two big guys. If I was going to give one more big guy that I say, okay, this guy's going to make a difference in a game, Josh Allen has to be more Josh Allen and less whatever the hell he was last year in the AFC Championship game when they went to Kansas City, because they looked absolutely terrible. And I rewatched that game yesterday, and Josh Allen is going to have to go in there because they don't have a running game, but they've got a good defense. They've got a good receiving core. It's all on Josh Allen's shoulders tomorrow. These are two pretty good defenses they're going to square off. Two great quarterbacks, but I think Kansas City has a little more across the board as far as all the different weapons. There's a big difference when you say your secondary weapon is Emmanuel Sanders, but my secondary weapon is Travis Kelce. And so I think that's a big deal. I also think that the Buffalo backfield has not shown up all year long. And Kansas City gets just enough going. So I made the prediction yesterday. I'm sticking with it. I think Kansas City is going to win that game.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if Kansas City obviously won that game. They're given a couple points. A lot of people think Buffalo has a puncher's chance, but Kansas City, man, they've looked good besides that game against the Bengals the second half of the year. That should be a fun one.
And look, I'm pulling for Buffalo, assuming Tennessee wins. I'm pulling for Buffalo regardless, because if Tennessee loses, I would probably be pulling for the Bengals, and I don't want to see the Bengals going to Kansas City for the AFC Championship game. That could be an absolute ass kicking, because if you think they've forgotten about them losing to Cincinnati in Cincinnati, there's no way. So anyways, let's move on. Let's go to Tampa. Let's go to Tampa in Los Angeles. The Rams, the Bucs. Tones, lay it on us. What are the keys for a Tampa victory?
My 3 keys to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning and moving on to the NFC Championship game for second year in a row. Number 1, will they be able to get pressure on Matt Stafford? Andrew Whitworth is out of the game. The Rams left tackle is out of the game. I agree. It's a battle of the trenches in this Bucs-Rams game. And Whitworth is the only offensive lineman to this point who's actually ruled out right now. So I think the Rams are really, really nervous for that left tackle spot. Stafford's blind side is going to be left unprotected. Joseph Noteboom will step in. Noteboom only played 100 snaps this year. He only let up 1 sack in those 100 snaps he did play this year. So maybe Noteboom is a little magical and maybe he does hold it down a little bit. But I'm going to be interested to see if we could force Vita Vea up the middle, move Stafford off his spot, see some of those Stafford throws we've seen the past couple weeks of the regular season where it results in poor decision-making and interceptions. And how that starts is Vita Vea up front trying to break through that middle of the line. And then once Vea is able to do that, you have Whitworth out. So you think of Jason Pierre-Paul or a Shaquille Barrett or an Anthony Nelson or a Cam Gill or whoever the heck might be lining up across from Noteboom tomorrow. You think they might be the one to try and pierce into the backfield with Vita Vea blitzing up the middle, move Stafford off his spot, have him make a couple turnover-esque type throws. So I think my biggest key for the Bucs is pressure on Matt Stafford. Try and get him to the ground. Try and get him off of his spot. Try and get him to be inaccurate and throw some interceptions. My second key to the Bucs winning, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, Mr. McGee, protecting Brady. With Jensen and Wirfs banged up, Jensen's going to play, no doubt about that. Every Bucs media reporter to this point has said Jensen's a shoe-in to play in. So Jensen's going to play. We're going to have Big Red out there. We're going to have our nasty center. The big one is Tristan Wirfs. And like Mac alluded to, we've seen Wirfs get hobbled out of last game, and then we've seen Josh Wells come in, and Ryan Kerrigan did have a sack on him. He bull rushed him, and the Eagles got through a little bit. However, Wellesley did have a quad injury all game. We were really light on tackle without Wirfs, and then Wells had to literally play the entire game injured. Not saying I feel great if we're without Wirfs, but we really got to protect Brady any way we can. And you'd think if Wirfs is out, that they're going to have to put Wells at right tackle, and you think they're going to have to generate chip shot blocks between running backs and tight ends, and the whole game plan just gets a whole lot more complicated for the Bucs, because if you got to use a guy like Gronk to chip, that means he's not releasing out of that chip block sequence for 2 more seconds than he should. And that's when he's open on the middle, running a drag route across the field usually. Instead, you're going to get a lot more condensed and consumed routes if you have to use a guy like Gronk to stay in a little more than you need. So protecting Brady is key. And that all starts with, like you said, McGee, will Wirfs play? He practiced yesterday, but the thing with that is, they didn't have anyone making contact with him, going up against him in contact drills, because Bruce Arians said he didn't want to worth having Wirfs trip over himself or trip over a defender. So that goes to show you right there he's hurt, right? If you're afraid of an offense.
Plus, if he does play, how long does he play?
And that's the other thing. You get that energy and you get that injured energy, and it could last you a quarter or a half, but how long until that gives out? So I heard an interesting quote this week too by Ian Beckles, former Bucs and Eagles offensive lineman. He said, Tristan Wirfs' second career really starts now, because Wirfs has never been hurt before in his entire career. And you really see true careers of people after their big first injury. This could be one of those things where Wirfs, has to just deal with that high ankle sprain or the ankle sprain throughout the duration of the playoffs, but perhaps the future. So Wirfs is going to have to learn to play with a little pain, specifically this year. He's going to have to try his best to protect Brady. And if he doesn't go out there, Wellesley is in line to play. Josh Wells, although he had a quad injury, he's a full go. He's good to go. So protecting Brady is key. We've seen what happens against teams like the Washington football team this year. If the defense could get after Brady, it doesn't end pretty all the time for the Buccaneers offense. So my second biggest key to the game is if the Bucs could protect Tom Brady with or without their offensive linemen. They need to try to do whatever they can to protect him, because even Bruce Arians said, even if Wirfs is healthy, even if Jensen is healthy, this Rams defensive line is scary regardless, right? You're not going to take it lightly regardless. So even if we are healthy, it's still going to be quite the tall task of protecting Brady. And then we got to establish the run. That's my third goal. We're probably getting Leonard Fournette back. He tweeted on his birthday, which was Wednesday, "I'll see you guys on Sunday," meaning that. But we all know with this Bucs coaching staff, today's the day. If Lenny isn't announced inactive today, he will suit up tomorrow. If Lenny is announced inactive today, he will not suit up tomorrow. We will know by midday today if the Buccaneers have Leonard Fournette
4
tomorrow.
4 p.m. Eastern is the cutoff for the teams that are playing tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. So we'll know by that time if Leonard Fournette's in or out tomorrow. But either way, this team
he plays.
I think he plays too. And either way, we got to establish the damn run.
Bernard, does he decide to play only if Wirfs is going to play?
That's what he's waiting for.
Wells, is this the same Wells that was on the practice squad of the Jaguars when I was there? No, man, I'm good.
that is the same. That is the same Wellsy. I will say though, I feel like Wellsy has learned a little bit. Not saying again, I feel as confident with him out there as Wirfs by any means of the stretch of the imagination, because Wirfs is already one of the top, if not the top, right tackle in all of football. But I will say Wells is growing and established himself a little bit. But the key to the Bucs is pressure on Stafford, protecting Brady, establishing the run. And a big part of all that is Brady gets the ball out of his hand in about 2.11 seconds. So they have the keys to success to do it all because of Brady.
All right.
We'll
that
see
magic sound means we got to move on because we're going to run out of time. Mr. Joey, give us your 3 keys to the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep it nice and simple here, as we're going to start with run as much as you pass. You don't have to run effectively all game if you're the Rams, but you have to get Cam Akers the ball and his touches, and you have to keep it honest, as you don't want it turning into 50, plus throws from Matthew Stafford. Keep it on the ground. Don't let them, just decide and lean up with those pass rushers of Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea, and the guys. Make them think run just as much as pass. That's my first key to the game, even if it's not working early. Number 2 is interior pressure on Tom Brady. I don't care about the DNs from the outside. I care about Aaron Donald getting at the feet. As I mentioned earlier, as Tone just said with the quick throws from Brady, you're not going to have a lot of time to get cute with safety blitzes. You're not going to have a lot of time to get cute with, you're twisting your pulls. You're just going to have to bull rush Donald up the middle, try to get him to break through and get at the feet of Tom Brady and get him off that magic spot, as he's not the fastest QB, as we all know in the league. And then number 3, Stafford, don't make the bad big mistake like you did in a few games in the late regular season. When the Rams are going good, Stafford is limiting his turnovers. He's making precise throws and moving the ball effectively down the field. Cooper Kupp in the slot, Odell Beckham, as we've seen more lately, on the outside, Higbee when he needs 5 to 10. Don't try to overthink it and overdo it. Keep it simple, make the open throw, and don't get cute, as this is going to come down to a game of physicality, and I'm very interested to see who wins that battle. So run as much as you pass, get that interior pressure on Tom Brady at his feet, and Stafford, don't make the big mistake. Those are my keys.
I'm going to give I already kind of gave the Bucs key. I think Wirfs playing or not playing is a big deal. The Rams key, one key to me. Stafford has to throw to his colored jerseys. If he goes out there and starts throwing these interceptions he's known to do, and he gives Tom Brady short fields, or gives Tom Brady's, essentially when you do that, you give them more possessions, right? That'll be the death of the Rams. You're not going to win on the road and lose the turnover battle against Tom Brady. It's just not going to happen. You have to play better than they play. And can Stafford do it? That's always been his the big thing that people have always, and I've always thought it's been a little unfair because he's been in Detroit. Detroit's terrible and has been terrible his entire career. And he has not been surrounded by the best talent while he's there. But doesn't have really any excuses tomorrow. He's got all the talent. got to put it together now. And I believe that defense is as talented as it is in the NFL. They've got to come together. Von Miller's got to make plays. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey.
This is why they don't have first round picks for the next 10 years, right? It's all for right now, right here, in the next couple of seasons.
That's exactly it. Because then if you putter out and you lose early this year, and let's say you putter out and lose early next year or whatever, then everyone's going to look at it as, well, what the hell did we do this for? And McVay's going to be gone. I'm not saying it's win or die for, do or die for McVay tomorrow, but he doesn't go past this round tomorrow. I think McVay is looking for a point where he might be coaching for his job next year, depending on how well they do. All right, let's go ahead and do our DFS lineups. Team build. I don't remember whose turn it is to go first. So
it's yours, McGee. Joey did the double bubble first last week, and I did the double bubble first 2 weeks back.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab our quarterback, and just because, oh man, I really don't like Brady going up against that secondary. I think they're going to try to keep it short. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab Stafford. I'm going to grab Stafford, and I am going to. We'll see what the point is this time. I'm going to grab Stafford, and I'm going to double down with Cam Akers. Cam Akers had a phenomenal game last week. It was only 4,200. He's now only 5,500. I still think that's incredibly cheap. And the longer he goes, the more they're going to give him the ball. And remember, we did the game tones. They missed a golden opportunity to him at one point where they threw it off his back hip. So he could have had even a much bigger game. So I think that's pretty good, cheap money spent. And then that way we'll take it to Tones. Tones, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to try and save us a little bit of money here as well. I'm going with a wide receiver here for $3,700. I'm going Tyler Johnson. There's no Brashad Perriman for the Bucs this week, meaning Tyler Johnson has to be wide receiver 2 behind Mike Evans. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Mike Evans, you presume, which should leave Tyler Johnson available routes over the middle. For $3,700, I like his potential, especially without
Can't beat that price. Look, I don't know what he's going to do. But if he does anything, that's a steal.
That's what I'm saying. And they're without Grayson and Perriman. So it's pretty much Mike Evans, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, and, the rest of the crew, not counting Gronk and whatnot. But I like Tyler Johnson.
That's a tarp on the field. They just showed all I saw on the video screen in the background was white across the Titans field, and it's 36 degrees. Like, is that snow? Like, what the hell's going on? It was a big tarp. I guess they're trying to keep the field warm. Okay. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. That's pretty much all I had. I think that's just great value as a wide receiver number 2 in the playoffs for $3,700. You're probably not going to find that anywhere else.
All right, Joey, what you got?
Yeah, and you were exactly right on the Titans thing. I just was watching before we got on, and they're just trying to get that field. It's like rough right now, that grass. They're trying to get it, a little bit looser for everybody to have Derrick Henry needs to get his treaded today. But since you guys saved me some money, I'm going to spend a little money. Deebo Samuel, it's everyone's favorite right now. He's at 7,600. It's still a little better than Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, saving $1,000 there. I just think, and we all know the 49ers, if they're going to have any success today and win this football game, Deebo's going to have to and always will be heavily involved and get some yards and find his way in the end zone. For 7,600, I'm going to take Mr. Deebo Samuel.
All right, so that kicks it to me, and I am going to go ahead and grab our defense. I think there's a couple of obvious choices there. Titans are sitting at 2,900, but I'm going to go with what I believe is the better defense. I've just got to hope that they play a good game. I'm thinking the Buffalo Bills defense. I know they're in Kansas City, but this defense, my God, I mean, they've got to step up. They didn't do it last year. They've got to step up tomorrow night. It's supposed to be pretty cold. Maybe that works into a lower scoring game. And I'm looking for maybe some turnovers because, look, remember earlier in the year, Patrick Mahomes was throwing picks all over the place, and maybe he gets a little flustered. If the Bills can get out to an early lead, I think the Buffalo's defense has a chance for some sacks and some turnovers. All right, Tones, what say you?
Yeah, I like that Bills pick. They need to step up a little bit too, you're thinking. So I think that's a really good pick for us, value-wise and defensive-wise. I'm looking at the running back position. I'm looking to add to our backfield room here. I'm going with the 49ers rookie running back who's brought him some good this year, Eli Mitchell, for $5,800. There's a handful of running backs that are more expensive than him.
I was on the fence there, and I almost grabbed him. I'll be honest with you. I like that pick a lot.
I think it's going to be a cold game tonight, a freezing game, and I'm not thinking, I'm knowing that. So I think 49ers are going to have to run the ball, hand it to Mitchell. And Mitchell's a big reason why they're here. To me, $5,800 is pretty good value for him. So give me Eli Mitchell in our running back number 2.
Wind chill, 10 degrees at kickoff. 10 degrees below zero at kickoff. Welcoming on to the show is Mr. Bobby. Bobby, how are your Cardinals doing?
Not good at all.
Are you ready to fire people, or what is a Cardinal fan?
I've been ready since last year, believe me. Cliff Kingsbury needs to go. Obviously, our GM, Steve Keim, ready for him to go. I don't think it'll happen this offseason, but we'll just have to wait on that.
So you are in the camp of fire Kingsbury at this point?
Easily.
I was in the camp of don't hire Kingsbury when they first went there.
Mm-hmm.
And we all knew why they were doing it, because they were going to get Kyler Murray, et cetera, et cetera. But my whole thing was this. The guy didn't have a winning record in the Big 12. How the hell is he going to dominate in the National Football League?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I don't get it.
All right, so this leaves us with Joey, it's your turn. We've got 18-6 left in 3 spots, so an average of 6,200. So far, we've grabbed Stafford, Akers, Mitchell, Tyler Johnson, and Deebo Samuel in the Buffalo Bills defense.
Oh, what do you know? My average is right on the head here and takes it to Mac McGee's team. A.J. Brown, 6,200 on the Tennessee Titans. As we all know, when this guy got hot in that San Fran game, especially when he came back, this offense started to pick up a little more steam. Everyone keeps talking about the Bengals offensive firepower and how they can throw the ball. How about a little A.J. Brown action for 6,200 today?
Man, that seems kind of low for him.
Yeah, he's below, like, he's a top receiver and he's a couple thousand behind the top guys, 1,500. So I figured, even though he's great with 6,200, decent value still.
I am really tempted to grab Ferkser with 3,100. I feel like he's going to sneak in the end zone with some kind of, whether it's a Derrick Henry pass or something, because it seems like they always look for the tight end. But I'll steer clear of that and I'll play it safe. And we'll go Tyler Higbee at $4,000. They went to him quite a bit last week. And I'm thinking that for $4,000, you're going to get quite a bit of value, and that'll leave Tones with 8,400 to finish it off.
I mean, you guys made this one too easy for me. I'm going with Derrick Henry just out of, pure. I know he's coming back from injury, but the Titans need to win this game, and Mike Vrabel's done an incredible job coaching, but he knows they need a big win here. How else do you win? You give it to your best player a ton, and I think Derrick Henry rides off. He's $7,500, so even after taking Henry, we still have $900 left over. How often do you get the best running back in the league and you save $1,000? Give me Derrick Henry.
Man, the first thing that jumps out at me is you got $900. You almost have to go grab Cooper Kupp. That's like the first thing that jumps out at me.
Who should we replace? Anyone you think?
I hate getting rid of Deebo, but the obvious choice would be trade in Deebo.
But then we're really Rams heavy then.
And then I know, but it's Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, that's a tough one because we would be Rams heavy, but at the same time, you're getting the best receiver in the game in your lineup. I'm going to let you two. I'm stuck in the middle, and I chose Deebo, and I would but I'm stuck in the middle because you could get that connection.
If you did that, you just take the 49ers defense and say it is what it is, and you could sneak that in. So either way, if you're playing at home, you can take either version. the version that I just stated, Cooper Kupp is your receiver. You'd have A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Johnson, who is how we got there, saving with 3,700. Then Mitchell and Akers is our running back. Stafford, Henry is our flex. Higbee is the tight end. And the 49ers defense in sub-zero temperature. You just hope you get a low-scoring game. Because you know you're going up against the Packers, but you're hoping it ends up being low-scoring for whatever the hell reason.
I just found one mini problem. I guess if we took out Debo and tried to add in Kupp, we'd be $100 short.
Yeah, I just laid that out. 49ers defense over the Bills defense.
Yeah, because we'd be swapping out defense, swapping out. Yep, gotcha.
I bet you that's going to be a fairly popular lineup today, just because people are going to be trying to get Cooper Kupp and Derrick Henry into the fold.
Yeah,
Tyler,
anytime you could get those two players in your lineup for that price.
But what's funny is what's going to determine whether or not you have a good day or not is for guys like Tyler Johnson, guys like Higbee, and the 49ers defense having a good day. Because everybody's going to go out there and have Cooper Kupp. Everybody's going to have A.J. Brown. Everybody's going to have Henry. But it's what do your other guys do?
Exactly.
Either lineup, though, I think is solid, but I have a hard time leaving $900 on the table.
No, I hear you. That's a lot of money to leave on the table.
That's just the drunken sailor in me. I'm like, no, we got to spend it, man.
Yeah. If it's here, what else are we going to do?
What the hell are we doing? We're taking that $900 too, man.
Another round
dinner on that?
Another round of Fireball.
Another fun thing is you could, I like that line. I like either of those lineups. So yeah, I like both of them.
I just like having Cooper Kupp because it seems like even if that guy only gets 80 yards receiving, it's off of 7 receptions. So you're in, and when a full point PPR matchup, you're just rolling the number over and over and over again.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. I'm it's still hard for me to believe that A.J. Brown's only 6,200.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Because that game could turn into a shootout. And if it does, the Titans are going to absolutely be leaning on him.
Wait, the Titans, they play this weekend? The media across the United States, I feel like they've covered a 1 seed less than the freaking 30 seed in the NBA these days. Like, come on, people, give the Titans some love.
I've seen more on the Bengals than I've seen on the Titans across the board.
If I'm going to, I feel like everyone.
Joe Burrow, dude. Like, the only thing that they've been focusing on is will Derrick Henry play? But now that he's playing, they're like, all right, whatever, dude.
I feel like every 1 and 2 seed is getting out coverage right now. I feel like the 49ers are getting all the talk, the Rams, the Bengals, and the Bills. I feel like all the underdogs are getting all the talk.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I understand why Buffalo, Los Angeles get the big hype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're talking about New York and LA. I understand why the Packers, because they have a big fan base over the years. But when you start telling me that the Bengals fan base is what everyone wants to focus on, get the hell out of here. It's Brian and Boomer Esiason. That's it.
You know what's hilarious too? When I was in Cincinnati for the 4th of July this summer, when the Reds were on their hot streak, all the Cincy fans wanted nothing to do with the Bengals.
Oh, of course.
And now they're all clamoring at their hip. Oh, we love the Bengals. You guys are literally laughing at him when I was there in July.
Bunch of losers.
Just funny and hypocritical.
I got to get that out now because if they pull off the upset, Brian's never going to shut up.
He says he's in your town too. So
yeah. And he said that right. He's in my town.
Yeah, exactly. In your town. He's not, your phone's off. He might show up in your town at your doorstep.
That is what we call a bad business decision. Health and safety protocols will be broken immediately.
Just like COVID testing, please keep all breathalyzers at home.
Oh,
I get fairly numb after a handle of Jack Daniels, which is where I'll be at around the end of the ball game. I'm telling you, I'm never going to watch that second game. I plan on it, but I'm never going to watch it because it's going to be more Waylon Jennings blaring in the background in the backyard, smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes, trying to stay warm, and kind of squinting through the TV. Through the sliding glass door to see what the score is.
B Rabbit might turn into bunny jerky if he arrives at the McGee household.
All right. Let's get into the locks. We'll start with Tones. What is your lock of the day?
I'm going to go with Josh Allen over 49.5 rushing yards for my lock of this weekend. I said on last week's show, I think Josh Allen has a chance of being one of the leading rushers, if not the leading rusher throughout the playoffs. And 49.5 is a pretty easy number for him to hit for me. He had 6 rushes for 66 yards last week against a, well, quote unquote, stout Patriots defense. We've seen they weren't so stout last week, but I like Josh Allen amassing the 50-yard rushing clip. And I think that's,
not since the days of Michael Vick have you seen a quarterback's over under rushing yards be that high. I guess maybe Lamar Jackson a couple of years ago. But that's insane. Like most running backs, their over-under is like 32 yards.
Right? The craziest thing about that, though, the Bills brought that on themselves for giving themselves Singletary and Moss out of that backfield, right? So I'm not Josh Allen, as good as a runner he is. To me, it more falls on just not having many options to give the ball to out of the backfield.
I don't hate the prop. I might actually take that prop tomorrow if I'm feeling frisky. I just that's just it's insane to me that a quarterback's rushing total is 49. That just tells you how few yards they plan on getting on the ground via the running back.
Yeah, Singletary 2, Moss 5. No, but another little one I like Bray over 16.5 yards. Not as my lock, but another prop I like.
But you know me, I'm going to be looking for that low number from that obscure guy like last week with the Arizona game. It's escaping me who the receiver was. I just remember.
Oh, Rondale Moore.
16.5 yards.
You got me money there.
Yeah. Bobby, I know you were probably watching the game on TV and not tuning in the broadcast, but I was excited. And then the dumb son of a gun caught like a -2 or -3 screen pass that took him underneath the over.
Yeah, he gets a lot of those whenever he's healthy.
He quickly got back over, but I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like this guy's gonna pull a hamstring. He won't come back out of the game." Yes,
that was exhilarating.
Yeah, with those Cliff Kingsbury screens, we get a lot of those 2-yard losses with our receivers. So.
All right, Joey, what is your lock of the day?
My lock of the day is going to be I'm going to go under in Rams Bucs. It's at 48 right now. I truly think that's going to be a battle of the defenses. A lot of feeling out process early is neither team wants to turn the ball over, especially Matthew Stafford. So I think under 48 is going to come in that game.
We might get 28 points off of defensive touchdowns because Brady running for his life with no worse fumbles it into the end zone, and then Stafford is the king of the pick six. They'll just be one up in each other.
It's 28.
The game plan at the half will be okay. We're punting. The moment we get the ball, we're punting because the other dude's about to turn the ball over.
It's a fumble.
What is your one big thing? We'll start with Tones because I think we know where he's going.
The quarterback room, you got the AFC, you got the young guns slinging the football. NFC, you got the old balls slinging the football. You got Rodgers, Brady, Stafford. Then AFC, you got
old balls, young balls.
Old balls against young balls. Massage them how you want. But the AFC, you got. That's why, to me, the two biggest quarterbacks to keep your eyes on this weekend are Tannehill and Garoppolo, because these are the mid guys, I call them. So these guys, the mid balls, we'll call them. They're trying to establish themselves as quarterbacks on playoffs teams. Tannehill got that big contract a couple years back. He's going to look to earn it today. And Jimmy Garoppolo, he knows Trey Lance is right behind him in that pecking order. He's fighting for his job too. Those two guys, they're getting paid good money.
Quarterbacks who are going to be who consistently get into the playoffs that get no respect across the board.
I agree. And today's a big day for those guys because nonetheless, you're going to go to bed tonight and you're going to keep thinking Burrow, Mahomes, and Josh Allen have all the potential, which win or lose they do. And you're going to go to bed thinking Brady, Rodgers, and Stafford are still all-time classics.
You're going to go to bed tonight going, we're going to end up with the damn Jimmy G versus Tannehill Super Bowl. I can just smell it.
Hey, if that happens, that happens. But my thing is just enjoy the quarterback play. And next year we'll see if the 49ers and Titans, what direction they choose to go.
All right, Joey, what's your one big thing?
Yeah, my one big thing is look at these coordinators and whoever comes out with losses to get in interviews and hired right away. You got Dabble and Buffalo and Leslie Frazier on defense and offensive side. If they lose there, you can see them pop out quick. In Tampa Bay, you got Balls and Leftwich. In Green Bay, you got Nathaniel Hackett. So there is a lot of coordinators on these teams. If you lose, you could see them being picked up right away. And I'm very intrigued to see the coaching tree, as we talked about yesterday, finally fall, as it's taken forever to get an NFL head coach hired this year.
All right, y'all, enjoy the games. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bobby and I will welcome in Sean and Stephen Troche, and we will be back in just a flash.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling waxed paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
The 60s saw many talented players burst onto the scene in a blaze of glory, only to burn out all too quickly. In 1967, Green Bay rookie Travis Williams, number 23, scored 4 kickoff return touchdowns, an NFL single-season record, but Williams was a flash who became a flash in the pan, as did the Rams' Bucky Pope, a marvelous receiver known as the Catawba Claw. During Pope's 1964 rookie campaign, his average of 31.4 yards per reception was far and away the league's best. He also totaled an NFL-high 10 touchdowns on just 25 receptions. But the Catawba Claw eventually withered, and Pope was out of the league by 1968. Greg Cook had skills that seemed like pure dynamite. Yet sadly, Cook was destined to flicker out like a candle in the wind. As a rookie in 1969, Cook demonstrated why the Cincinnati Bengals made him their #1 draft choice. Cook threw for 15 touchdowns and was the AFC's top-rated passer. Few first-year quarterbacks have ever asserted themselves so quickly, but Cook's staying power failed to equal the power in his passing arm.
Greg Cook was I believe the greatest talent to play the position. He was big, active, had a great arm, and had tremendous instincts. He could play today or at any time in the history of the NFL. He had a shoulder injury that affected his passing arm. Greg was a highly sensitive person, and so consequently it affected him, I think, a little bit psychologically. He had this physical injury that basically ended his career. But while he played, he was the best there was.
Armchair.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep on your toes.
Welcome back here to Armchair Quarterbacks Handicappers, and joining us is Mr. Sean O'Toole, and I think Steven's in here. Yeah, here comes Steven. Sean, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm fantastic. Looking forward to a weekend of football and big day for the Mid-State today. Nashville's a buzzing.
I bet they are. Steven, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Got football, like you said, got football all weekend. I get to go do some house shopping today, so looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll go ahead and do the DFS team build. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way first. I'm just going to let the three y'all do it because I just did one with them, and I'll probably pick the same players, so there's really no point in it. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out real quick. The first DFS, if people missed it, we went with Stafford, Akers, 5,500, Stafford 6,200, Mitchell at 5,800, Tyler Johnson of the Bucs for 3,700, Cooper Kupp 86, AJ Brown 62, Tyler Higbee for 4 even, The King is back at 7,500 at the flex. And so that gave us the 49ers defense at 2,500. All right. So I'll go ahead and clear that board out. And whose turn is it?
I think I am up, actually.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Well, I can confidently say I am not going Stafford, but I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes here. I really think he's going to just keep up the strong play from last week. He's 7,300, and I'm going to pair him with a massively discounted, actually, Travis Kelce at 6,500.
He's discounted? He's
usually between
he's the highest tight end by $700.
Yeah, but I like you're usually paying 7,000 plus for him, so 6,500.
Well, yeah, but he's also going up against the Buffalo Bills defense, and there's also less players to pick from. So yeah,
I'm going to say 6,500 he has not been 6,500 in 2021, all season. He has been so.
Well, I mean, it's been weeks since Cooper Kupp's been 8,600. It's been weeks since, when Derrick Henry was on the field, he was up around $9,000. He's 7,500 today. But I get what you're saying. All right, so who's next after that?
Bobby, go ahead.
I'm up. All right, I'll go with the budget option since we went a little bit pricey there. I like Allen Lazard for 4,400. Valdez-Scantling, he's probably going to be out tonight, and he's going up against the 49ers secondary that isn't too great. So I see Lazard putting up some points. I think 4,400, he's definitely worth that.
Okay.
I like it. I got no reason to doubt that. I'm gonna take a running back that I haven't seen picked a lot in DFS standards, but the one place that Green Bay is really compromised, and I say this from the Lions facing them twice and seeing some of their games down the stretch, is in the front seven, especially stopping the run. Eli Mitchell at 5,800 is a real bargain as far as I'm concerned, with Jimmy G a little dinged up. I don't think there's any doubt Shanahan, whether it's Samuel or Mitchell, could burn you, but I would ride with Mitchell at 5,800. He is a very, very capable running back and could easily be the best part of their offense today.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we went with him on the first slate too is because you look at the weather, and do you really want Jimmy G slinging it around out there? So you're going to try to find all kinds of ways to get the ball going forward, handing it off to Mitchell and Debo and company. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of jet sweeps. All right, Mr. Steven, back to you.
Sean and I are on the same page. Like, Elijah Mitchell was my next pick. Dude's gotten 20 plus carries in the last 6 games. He, outside of Derrick Henry, he is the only true workhorse left in the playoffs. With that, I'm going to still save a little bit of money. 5,300, Odell Beckham Jr. has just really turned into that second option in the receiving game. He's been seen a lot of work in the red zone. They are going to need to score points to keep up in that game, and I think they're going to look Beckham's way a lot, especially with all that coverage on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I expect that to be a shootout, which is obvious reason why we took Stafford. But yeah, I think that might be the highest scoring game of the weekend total. I know everyone's got their eyes on Bills, Chiefs, but those are two pretty damn good defenses, and you're going to be dealing with a little bit of weather, nothing crazy, but I know Buffalo, Kansas City could end up being 45-42, but I think it's more likely 24-21.
Hey, it is so crazy hearing you say that Kansas City's a damn good defense when in October all we could talk about is how broken Kansas City's defense was and how bad they were.
They fixed it.
I know, it's just crazy.
Now, some of it was who they played, and we'll see when the rubber meets the road at 6:30 tomorrow night, because you can't look. If they shut down Buffalo, you can't come up with some screwy reason why they did it. They did it because they're good. But a couple of their big matchups that they shut offenses down, you did shake your head a little bit. It was against the Steelers. They had some easy matchups per se, but both defenses have been playing pretty good. Look, Buffalo's defense wasn't playing very good at the beginning of the season. So these are two defenses that are playing really well Buffalo's secondary, especially. Where do we go? Back to Sean?
Yep.
No, Bobby.
Oh,
Bobby went after Steven.
Sorry.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with the AJ Brown then. He was mentioned in the first hour. I like him for 6,200 a lot today. I think that game's gonna have a lot of passing going on. I think AJ Brown's gonna be the main passing target for the Titans. Obviously, I think 6,200 is a steal for him. I think he's gonna have a big day.
Okay, AJ Brown.
Yep.
All right, and Sean.
So that leaves me a running back, a flex, and a defense with about 4,800 to spend before it goes back to Trosh and Bobby. I'm going to say let's grab the defense. And I'm going to grab a defense that's not at the top of the board today. I'm going to grab the Tennessee Titans at 2,900. I know there's a lot of advanced numbers today that folks are like, I'm not so sure. Burrow might carve them up. I'm just not seeing it. Of the quarterbacks who've been sacked 50 or more times in a year, which Burrow's on that list, none of them have made it to the Super Bowl. I think he's going to be under duress all day. And even if they do score points, I think turnovers and sacks.
I gotta know, where are you? Because all of a sudden you put sunglasses on and it looks like you got sun shining. Are you at the Titan Stadium?
No, I'm not at I wish I was at the Titan Stadium. That'd be awesome. No, I'm just outside.
Oh, okay. Steven, back to you.
Well, yeah, one thing, do we know if Fournette's going to be playing this week or no?
We don't. It's still up in the air. We don't know. Those decisions are made at 4 p.m. Eastern, by 4 p.m. Eastern today, and I haven't seen an official anything from Tampa Bay because we're looking for Wirfs, Jensen, and Fournette are the three big ones out of that game.
Yeah, because I mean, like that really, like if we have no Fournette again, I am loading up. I am just locking in Gio Bernard in a lot of my lineups. But with that uncertainty, we still do need another running back and a flex. I'm just going to go ahead and lock in Devin Singletary here. I mean, he has just turned like he is taking over that backfield. They are going to have him on the field regardless. He gets some receiving work.
Okay,
and
so
I'm not loving. Henry's a little too much for my blood in this lineup, and I'm just not feeling Aaron Jones or Mixon. So that leaves me with Devin Singletary at 5,900.
Okay, so we got 5,700 in the flex. Bobby, what say you?
All right. Do you have some guys you can list off? Do you have it pulled up? Or?
Yeah. T. Higgins, Fournette, Cam Akers,
Kittle, Michelle, Ayuk,
Foreman, Kittle, Michelle, Ayuk, CEH, who is going to play.
I think I'll go with Higgins. I like Higgins today. He's one of the few players that are in a matchup where the weather isn't extremely cold. I think he'll get a lot of work today. I think him and Jamar Chase. I honestly think this is going to be a high scoring, heavy passing game, and I think T. Higgins will get involved quite a bit.
Okay. So that puts it at $0 left over with Pat Mahomes at 73, Mitchell 58, Singletary 59, Lazard 44, Beckham at 53, AJ Brown 62, Kelsey 65, Higgins 57, and the Tennessee Titans defense at 29. So there you have that. I think the only two that we had similar, I'm just going off of memory because I cleared the other one out, but I think Mitchell and AJ Brown, I believe that was it. It seems like so pretty good job of building two good lineups without a whole lot of different. It's gonna get a little more difficult next weekend when you get two games.
Okay.
Well, do I take Tannehill or Mahomes?
Well, one of them ain't be in the game, so
yeah,
shouldn't be.
To Steven's point earlier, it'll be interesting to see what the prices are next week, like the big gaps. So, like for instance, let's say all the home teams win, and you get Mahomes, Brady, Tannehill, and Rodgers. Rodgers, Brady, and Mahomes will all be up here, and then Tannehill's will be way the hell down here. So it'll open. If you do take Tannehill, you're opening yourself up to be able to grab other players. But but you're probably going to get a dud at the wide receiver. Because no matter who they play, if Tennessee wins today, no matter who they play, you think they're taking the air out of the ball today? Wait till next week. They're like, I don't want any part of Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes going up and down the field and Tannehill having to match.
I was about to say, like you're very close to jinxing them already, locking in Tannehill in a lineup for next week.
Well, I do believe we're going to win. I'll go ahead and call it right now. I think I gave this score yesterday, but I'm going to say 30-20 Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to put the hammer down. I don't think they're getting near the respect that they should be getting nationally, and I think they're going to wear that chip on their shoulder. And they're going to be energized getting King Henry back.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think we have the best quarterback on the field? Hell no, man. Yeah. Joe Burrow is so much better than Tannehill. It's not even funny. Do we have the best receiver on the field? Hell no. I love A.J. Brown, but Jamar Chase is like that next step up. Do we have the best receiving core? Hell no.
Oh, that's an obvious.
Hell no. But do we have the best offensive line, the best defensive line? Yup. And that's where those games are won. And I think that's often lost. I think a lot of people fall in love with quarterback play. And, those of us that do fantasy football, the first thing you want to look at is, well, who's their running back? Who's their wide receiver? Who's their tight end? But it's one up front. And I think Tennessee's defensive line is going to be the name of the game. It won't be easy, but I think they'll wear them down.
I'll just throw one question at you, football. Speaking of winning up front,
Bobby Bowden.
With the pass rush that the Rams have this week, do you think Gronk's going to stay in and block a little bit more? He is one of the greatest blocking tight ends of all time.
Man, if Wirfs isn't going to play, they're going to have to, aren't they? You almost want to put Gronk in as a tackle.
Yeah.
Because the kid they got backing him up, he was on the practice squad of the Jaguars.
Oof.
Yeah. I was joking earlier that Leonard Fournette's going to find out if Wirf's going to play before he decides if he's going to play. Yes.
Yeah, I could see it.
He was in Jacksonville with that kid. He's like, oh, no, I'm good, man.
Every time. That's a solid point for why there's a lot of money and a lot of action on the Rams, because if they have to use Braid or Gronk to chip Von Miller, that's just one less person in pass coverage. And is Brady going to have time to find Cyril Grayson or who's a Scotty Miller? There's a Coleman out there too, I think.
So unlike most people, I watched the entire Tampa Bay game because I have a gambling problem. So I actually watched that entire terrible game. Brady was a sitting duck there. As soon as Wirfs went down, I'm a little shocked that they won as handily as they did, but that just shows you that Philly didn't belong in the playoffs. But, I mean, every time he would drop back, he was crunching over, and that's the Eagles' defensive line. We're talking about the Rams. Von Miller is going to come at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy by the name of Donald. I heard he's pretty good.
I saw a lot of that Rams defensive line last night. Or not last night, but last week.
And Brady's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. He's the worst quarterback I've ever seen if you get someone in his face. That dude ain't running away from anybody. There's no shot in hell that Brady's going to scramble out and pull a Pat Mahomes or a Josh Allen trick out of his hat. He makes Tannehill look like Carl Lewis. All right, let's move on.
Tannehill was a receiver.
Yeah. He was also not a very good quarterback till he got Derrick Henry on his team.
Yeah.
I'm sure Steven can attest to that. Before we get to that topic, I was curious to hear y'all rank the games this weekend. So the game you got to watch, the game you want to watch, the game you'll probably watch, and the game that you don't give a damn if you see it or not, essentially. So 1 through 4. And I know most of us are going to watch them all, but if your power goes out or something, what's the first game you're kicking off the list that you're like, I really don't care if I see this? Bobby, I'll start with you.
As a football fan, it's probably going to be 49ers Packers. It's a cold weather game, so it probably won't be terribly high scoring. I don't see it being, either a close game really. I think the Packers could run away with it. But we've also seen the 49ers have their success against the Packers in the past. So I don't know. I'm not terribly high in this game, but I'm going to be watching them all, of course. But if there was one I had to get rid of, it'd probably be 49ers Packers.
Sean, what about you? Did I lose Sean? He almost
looks like he's frozen.
Yeah, I thought he was in deep thought. Okay, Steven, what about you?
No, I mean, first one I'm kicking off the list. I mean, I know you guys all have some rooting interest here, but it's got to be Cincinnati, Tennessee. I mean, like you said, Tennessee isn't looking to take the air out of the ball. It's going to be the King Henry show, and I'm just not sure if
Are you not entertained?
I'm really not. That's why I'm not going to watch it.
Understood. It'd be like, I'm sure it'd be like if Tua was in the playoffs playing whoever.
I don't see that being a very entertaining, high-flying game. I mean, for me, Aaron Rodgers is always must-watch TV. He has never beaten the 49ers, and I just like this is a.
Isn't that a crazy stat?
I mean, that is just a thing for me. I'm going to be glued to that to see if he can actually overcome it.
This isn't Aaron Rodgers spending his entire career going up against the Joe Montana 49ers, right? But he's never beaten the 49ers. That's a crazy stat. Sean, if you're with us, what game are you kicking off the docket first? If you say, look, that's the one game I don't care if I see or not.
I honestly think Rams Tampa could be a snoozer. I'm not in 100% agreement with everyone who thinks it's going to be a classic or a shootout. I'm really worried about Tampa Bay's ability to move the ball if they can't protect Brady, and the Rams could get ahead of that one early. So I would kind of put that one at the bottom of my list. If I have to pick one that I'd rather watch than any other, I'll give you another side thing about San Francisco, Green Bay. You've got the pupil against the master. You've got Kyle Shanahan going up against LaFleur, who they go back to 2013 when they were all on the Redskins staff together.
I thought you were talking about the quarterback matchup at first, and all I could think.
No.
All I was thinking of is Jimmy Garoppolo is too old to be a pupil, and he damn sure ain't the master. So what are we talking about?
No, it's LaFleur was an understudy of the Shanahan system under Shanahan in a bunch of different places. And right. Trosh just alluded to something I was going to mention, which is that Rodgers has never beat the Niners. Now everything's on a tee for him in this game, right? You got an injured quarterback on the other side. The weather is going to be a real disadvantage for the Niners. So I think Green Bay is going to win. I would love to put Buffalo KC first, but I mean, just because of the history of the franchises, San Francisco Green Bay is number one to me. But I mean, we're on a gambling show. We've all got a problem. We're going to watch them all.
And just for clarification, that Rodgers has not beaten the 49ers in the playoffs. He has beat them in the regular season.
Yeah. The one that I'll kick off, and I know this is going to shock everyone, it's Buffalo, Kansas City. There's two reasons. A, I believe Buffalo is going to get their butts handed to them again. I think Kansas City sitting on all cylinders, and I think it's going to be hard for them to win. I think they're going to see a game the whole time. You're going to be hoping and wishing they can make a game out of it, but they'll be consistently down by 2 scores, and you'll never see it competitive after like this second, third quarter. The other reason is it comes on Sunday night, and I got slow down the beer intake at some point, and it's usually Sunday night because I got to work some Monday mornings. if there's one I have to like not watch, I'd be like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go to sleep then. That's my reasoning for that. I'm a little surprised that's not the Saturday night game, considering the star aspect that I know most people are expecting. Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. What is the second worst game on the docket for you, Bobby?
As a football fan, again, I'm not going with personal interest.
You keep saying as a football fan. I mean, I'm not asking you as a volleyball fan. Like, yes,
well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, if I have no team that I'm pulling for, I mean, personally, the Titans-Bengals game is number one for me because Titans are kind of my team. I've taken them on, I guess, for the rest of the playoffs. But they're probably the third one, like, in the rankings, I guess, of how good the games are. I see the Bucs and the Rams game and the Bills-Chiefs game just to be a little bit more, hopefully, competitive, and I think it'll be a little more high-flying and stuff. So I got Bengals-Titans as the third one.
Sean?
I'm gonna say Buffalo, Kansas City as my third one. I'm on the complete opposite side of you from that one. I actually think this is the best chance I think Buffalo will ever have to beat this team in the playoffs, and especially if Dayball leaves, which looks somewhat likely. I think he's going to get at least one of the 8 jobs we're going to talk about on the show at some point today. This is their last. It's not their last chance, but it's their best chance so far to beat Kansas City, and I think they have the potential. But yeah, I'm in the same vein with you. Like, I might be footballed out by that point, and I have to work Monday morning at 8:00 too. So I could take it or leave it. I do think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be the Mexico City Rams Chiefs game like a lot of people are predicting, though. I don't think it's going to be that up and down the field.
Oh, wouldn't that be phenomenal? Steven, what say you?
I mean, like, y'all are talking about this Sunday night game, but it's, I mean, especially for you, Sean, it's a 5:30 game. Like, what are you going to be going to sleep at 6:00?
I'm 45, fool. Do you know what happens after the age of 40? Like, I hit 8:30 and I start yawning. Knock it off. Quit making fun of me.
I spent plenty of nights where he's in the last one going at 3 a.m., so I don't want to hear it.
I've already asked a half day off the day after the Super Bowl and gotten it off. I'm like, I'm not getting up at 8, or actually, I guess I get up at 6:45-ish. Well, I'm not getting up that after the Super Bowl. Nah, I'm good, man. I'll see y'all after lunch.
The second game that's going like that I can do without is going to be that Rams Tampa Bay game. We've talked about it enough. I feel like it's going to be just a drag out game. We're not going to see too much offense. Going to see a lot of mistakes. We could see a possible Stafford collapse against a good team, like we've seen how many times throughout his career. I don't know. Like, there's just too many competing things happening there that I could see things going really wrong for a TV audience.
I guess I'm on a totally different vibe on that game because everyone seems like they believe that game's gonna get ugly. I'm actually looking forward to that game. So I'm gonna give you Green Bay, San Francisco, just because there's a good possibility that I'm going to be intoxicated and inebriated by the time the game kicks off. So I don't know how much I'll remember of it anyways. So that game could not get played, and you can convince me of anything tomorrow morning. So I'm going with
Montana won it for him.
And I am a little concerned that as much as I'm going to be pulling for San Fran because I want to see Jimmy G keep making everyone mad, keep marching on, and I love physical football. But I'm a little concerned they could fall behind quickly, and then you've got to rely on Jimmy G to get you back in the game. What if that game is just a stinker? What if it's like 31-16 at the end, and you're like, well, what the really? Snow or no snow, that's not going to be enough to keep me occupied. All right, so what's the game? What's the second game of what game are you second most excited to see? We'll start with Bobby.
Second, Rams Bucs. I know some of you guys have been kind of, down on this game, but I think it'll be a decent one. I think if the Bucs can get healthy before this game, which is a big if, but if they can, I think it'll be a pretty competitive game. And I'm hoping with everything in me that the Rams lose. I don't like them to begin with, but obviously they knocked my Cardinals out. So I'm going to be rooting hard against the Rams, but I think it'll be a competitive game, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to it.
Sean?
I'm with you there, Bobby. I want the Rams to lose as well because the better that pick gets, the better it is for the Lions. But I don't think they're going to. McGee, you took the words out of my mouth with San Francisco, Green Bay. I mean, that's the game that I'm second most excited to watch. I'm a little concerned, especially given its slot and how injured San Francisco is, especially at the quarterback position. If Green Bay gets up 21-0, if they just march down the field on their first 3 drives, like, Jimmy ain't the guy to bring you back from that.
It's gonna be Netflix or Hulu time.
Right. It's gonna be just like the Caesars commercial. It's gonna be tacos and chill time. Like it's time to go to bed.
What's the basketball game tonight?
Yeah, exactly.
I need to get a backup plan.
I'll have to put them. I'll have to put the Predators Red Wings game on early if that's how it goes down, because Preds and Red Wings play tonight in Nashville. But it's going to be that could be an ugly.
Is that on the Plus? Do you know?
Well, I mean, locally it's on Bally's for me here with Xfinity, but I'm sure it is on the Plus. It would be blacked out for me if I tried to watch it on Plus. I'd have to watch it on the local channel. But
what time is that game?
I believe it's 7 or 7:30. It's
so 8:30 my time.
Well after the Titans game. They want to give the drunkards a chance to, walk across the footbridge and see how many of them fall off the side before they make it to Bridgestone.
They need to run a shuttle, man. That's for people who are watching don't know what he's talking about. That is a bitch of a bridge to walk, man. When you especially you've been drinking.
And at game time it's going to be nice, but the high today is like 33. So like you got drunk people walking across the Shelby footbridge. That's just put a drone up and see how many of them make it. You might get to triple digits. It'll be great. But that's my number 2.
Steven, what say you?
I mean, like before I get into my number 2, there is no reason to watch NBA tonight. All 3 games have a they're all featuring 10 point or more favorites. So there ain't going to be anything competitive on in the NBA tonight. I mean, we've said, I've said plenty about the San Fran Green Bay game. That's my number 2. I want to see if Rodgers can overcome that the hump that are the 49ers in the playoffs. And if not, if they don't, we got another a possible underdogs darling going into the championship game. I think 49ers can really compete with either the Rams or Tampa.
My number 2 is probably going to surprise people. It's Tennessee, Cincinnati. And the reason being is, first of all, I always get nervous whenever my team's involved. As much as I might sit here and tell you I think they're going to win, I'm always Dr. Doom in my head. I always feel like the worst case scenario is going to happen and Tennessee's going to lose by 60. Like that's just so that's why it's my number 2, because I know how much Jack Daniels I'm going to put down, and I'm kind of not looking forward to that tomorrow morning. The other reason it would be my number 2, though I'm looking forward to it, I'm not looking as forward to it as the other game that we'll talk about in a second. I am concerned one way or the other it could turn into a blowout. I could see a scenario where Cincinnati takes off like a bat out of hell and Tennessee can't catch up because they're just known for running the ball, physical play. I could also see what could happen in the situation where the line breaks down for Cincinnati. There's some turnovers. Tennessee gets out to an early lead, and then you don't get to just see Henry. You're going to be seeing Foreman. You're going to see Hilliard, and you're just going to see kind of a boring game. But I think it's going to be a good game. I just think Tennessee pulls away late. All right, what's the number 1 game that you're like, get out of my way, shut up, I want to watch it? Bobby, start with you.
Got to go with Bills Chiefs, just for the potential of this being one of the highest scoring, games we remember for years to come. You got 2 elite quarterbacks in Allen and Mahomes, and a ton of talent on both sides of the ball for both teams. I really like this game, and I think I'll get into who I think the winner is later. But I love this game. I'm just hoping it's a high scoring one and it doesn't disappoint.
Sean?
Yeah, the only one I haven't mentioned yet. You can see my background. Tighten up, baby. I really, really want to watch this game. You mentioned it. There's some definitive Dr. Doom stuff amongst Titans fans, and I know a lot of them. And it's they've lost some divisional round games in this building as a 1 seed. It's happened now. Most of those involve the Baltimore Ravens. There's some truth to that, but the Titans fans, love them though I do. If Cincinnati comes out and marches down the field on the first 2 drives, it's going to get real quiet in Nissan real quick. So I think the first 2 drives are very, very important to that game. If Cincinnati starts with the ball, Titans got to get them off the field. If Tennessee starts with the ball first and you got 22 left for 5 yards, 22 right for 7 yards on the first couple of plays, is going to be a bad, bad day for Brian Crook and all the Bengals fans. So, and there's to me, there's a distinct coaching disadvantage. Vrabel's been in a lot of these, even back to when he was a GA and an assistant at Ohio State. They played in some championship games, and Zach Taylor just hasn't been on this stage. And regardless of what the final score says, they absolutely could have lost that game to Vegas last week at home. So, I think it's the Titans' time. Titans 34, Bengals 21. but it's the one I'm most excited to watch by far.
Vrabel might have played in one of these games every once in a while too.
In a lot of these games, yeah, in a lot. Learned at the heels of the master, so there's that too.
Steven, what's the game you're most excited about?
I mean, it's Kansas City and Buffalo. We have the two best quarterbacks in the league. Not only not two best quarterbacks in the league, two of the best quarterbacks left in the playoffs. And they are just they're the quarterbacks of the future. I mean, I like we saw last year that basically they are a very good matchup for each other. I'm not sure we'll see that 50-50, like 55-50 game that people are talking about, but I think this is going to be definitely high flying. Going to be lots of points. And it's
even everything I said, I hope we get a classic.
I just think it's going to be a very competitive game from start to finish. And I think the winner of that game is basically going to be going to the Super Bowl. They are the two best teams in the AFC. So like we had to see them in the divisional round instead of the championship round.
You'll find out next week why.
We're due some classics. I mean, aside from San Francisco, Dallas, last week was kind of so it's kind of pretty mid. So we're due some classics.
I'm more concerned about this week than I am next week. I think if Tennessee gets past this week, they're going to win next week, especially if they get to play the Bills. Stupid Mahomes. My number one game, Rams Bucs. I really think this is going to be an absolute classic. I think it's going to be a shootout. And it's going to be interesting to see what Stafford can do. It really is. I'm not convinced that he's going to step up on the big stage, but I really want to see it. And I want to see what McVay can do. I want to see what Brady is going to game plan. Yeah, don't tell me it's Leftwich. We all know it's Brady. I want to know, will the Tampa Bay defense step up? Because I do believe the Rams defense is going to show up and wreak havoc. This is going to be a classic game, and people are going to be intrigued by it by the end because A, they're going to be getting ready to get set for the Bills game, and B, if Brady's in trouble, all the eyes on America are going to be on that game because everyone just assumes Brady's going to at least make it to next weekend, and I'm not convinced. We'll do those predictions here in a second. Real quick, ranking the top 8 jobs in America, and we're going to do it pretty fast because we're going to run out of time. Bobby, if you just want to give me your top 4, what are your top 4 jobs in America that are currently has no coach in the National Football League? What you got?
I'll start with the Vikings at number 1. They've got a talented roster. Obviously, they're bringing in a new GM. Ryan Poles is one of the guys they're looking at. He's one of the Chiefs' assistant GMs. I think that could be a team that's on the upswing. They've got an elite young wide receiver, obviously, in Jefferson, and they got other young talent with it. They've got a solid quarterback who I think can get them to the playoffs and maybe take them on a little bit of a run. I don't know if he's going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I like Kirk Cousins a little bit this year. He kind of proved me wrong. I was a doubter before, but he's done solid. My number 2, I've got the Broncos. They've got a really good roster, honestly, outside of quarterback. I think that's the piece they're missing. If they can get a quarterback through trade or free agency or even through the draft, I think they could be in a really good position for any head coach. And then number 3, I got the Raiders. They've got a solid amount of talent. They're going to have a new GM coming in to replace Mayock, a good quarterback, quarterback who just got their team to the playoffs despite all the stuff they went through this year. So I think they're a solid team, and I think a good coach can come in and probably not put them over the top. I don't think they'll be a Super Bowl team, but I think a good coach could take them to farther lengths. And then number 4, I'll wrap it up with the Bears. They've got a young quarterback. Another team's got a new GM coming in. My big concern with them, though, is their O-line. That's very not good. But they've got some young talent. They've got a quarterback who I think could potentially be a solid quarterback in Justin Fields. So I got the Bears as my number 4 destination.
All right, Sean, what say you?
Yeah, I'll go through it really quick. Bobby mentioned the O-line. I'm going to give you the most important O word, ownership. And that comes up in my top 4. Broncos 1, Vikings 2. I've got the Raiders at 4. I've got the Jags at 3. I know Shad's taken a lot of arrows, but I actually do think he's a good guy. I just don't think he's always hired the right football people. But you've got a franchise quarterback. in Jacksonville, and you can do a lot with the amount of cap room and draft picks that they have if they get somebody good in there. And I'm not going to say much that Bobby didn't say about the other three. The Broncos are a quarterback away. They're about to be sold. The Vikings are a great organization that gives coaches time. I mean, Zimmer was there, 7-8 years. And, I think, I hope it's not Harbaugh, but it looks like it could be. Mark Davis seems to be much different from his dad in the fact that he doesn't seem to intrude on football ops as much. So those are my top four.
Steven?
I mean, I wouldn't be a Dolphins fan if I didn't include them in my top four. Say what you want, but they have been they have the pieces there. The defense is definitely right now playoff caliber. They were one or two wins away from being a playoff team this year. They've been on the cusp of the playoffs past few years. I mean, they really aren't that far away. Assuming that Tua is the guy, I'm gonna put them at number 4. I'm gonna go the Vikings to number 3. They do have a fairly balanced team. They have a quarterback in Kirk Cousins, but they don't really have too much cap space. And you really wonder what Cousins' ceiling is. Can he actually get you to a Super Bowl? Number 2, I really feel just dirty doing this, but it's got to be for me, it's the Bears. I mean, like they do, they've got a decent amount of cap space. They've got one of the most high-profile jobs in the league, and it looks like, at least with the openings there, aside from the Jaguars, they're one of the few ones that have a very promising young quarterback, and that's what you want as a coach, to come in and be able to build around that and actually build a team while your quarterback's on a cheap salary. And then number 1 for me is going to be the Raiders. I mean, that is just like you said before. Mark Davis seems different than his dad. He doesn't really want to intrude on the football side of things. With all they went through this year, they still got to the playoffs. They have a good amount of cap space. They have a quarterback that we've seen that can win. I mean, there's a lot to like there, and not to mention that fan base will stand behind that team and their coaches through everything. I mean, we saw Gruden put up a losing record, not make the playoffs, and he was still a fan favorite there. I mean, and not to mention they're in Vegas now. That just seems like an all around winning recipe if you're a head coach.
Yeah. So my number 1 job out there is Vegas, and that is because they're a destination free agent. Free agent's going to want to go live in Las Vegas, and I think you get the right guy in there. And it does sound like it's going to be Harbaugh. I got that from pretty good authority yesterday that I talked about on the show last night, that they think that it's going to be announced possibly this weekend. Harbaugh is the kind of guy that could recruit someone into Vegas. So that's my number 1. I don't know if Carr's the answer, but he's got a lot of other pieces that you can figure some stuff out. And you can't tell me that the Mr. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't love to play in Vegas. My number 2 is the Minnesota Vikings. They've got such a loaded offensive roster, and you get the right guy. And I think the right guy there is Brian Flores. Brian Flores goes in there. He's a defensive guy. He might have had his issues with the general manager, but I think Steven will tell you that he would love to have the guy back. He could get that Minnesota team to a division title easily next year, especially the biggest reason is Aaron Rodgers is most likely not going to be in Green Bay. And so if Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay, Minnesota automatically becomes the favorite, I believe. My number 3 job is Denver. Everyone's laid it all out. I have nothing to add, but Denver is my number 3 job. And then my number 4 comes to a coin flip. And that is, I would say Miami. But if I go in the interview and I'm talking to that general manager and he's telling me that I have to stick with Tua and you don't want me to go out and try to recruit someone, whether it's Rodgers coming down, where it's making a trade to go get Deshaun Watson, whoever the hell my quarterback is. Tua is not going to take you any further than what you've been. So if that's the case, then I would roll the dice with the Jacksonville Jaguars because of what Sean laid out.
You want to work under Trent Baalke?
I mean, I would like to get Brian Flores' opinion on it.
I'm working with Trent Baalke?
No, on what he had to deal with in Miami and why it didn't work out.
I will say I've seen a lot of subtweeting from the offensive players that I mean that was one of the biggest reasons. It's just a disconnect that he just really did not get along with the offense and not just Tua.
Well, the biggest thing that was revealed shortly after was the fact that Flores did not believe Tua was the future, and he was being told he had to be the future, and that's just a
wanted Watson,
right? That's the general manager just digging his damn heels in, not wanting to admit that he was wrong in a pick. He's had an incredible run of great picks. There's nothing wrong to say, hey, I blew it on this quarterback. Let's go get somebody else.
Because I mean, to be fair, we heard those exact same things when Philbin was let go. That he always he was never a big Tannehill fan, and he always wanted Derek Carr. And I mean it.
Well, I don't know if he was wrong about that.
I mean, live and die with the quarterback. It happens every year.
It's a quarterback league now. You have a guy that is not going to be a Super Bowl quarterback. He's just not. And he could probably be a good backup. He can probably be he's a formidable guy. He gets a new place and he can be okay for a transition, maybe like a New York Giants. By the way, does anyone disagree that the New York Giants is probably the worst job?
I'd say Texans.
I had the Bears at the bottom of my list because I think the McCaskey family is actually just completely rudderless and just brain dead up there. And they've interfered in football ops so much and just hired the wrong people. I think the Giants are bad. They're at least the second worst, if not the worst. But I'm nowhere near with Bobby on the Bears. I think the Bears have real problems ahead because of their ownership.
Houston to me has some moving parts, and they're not in a very tough division. So I don't hate the Houston job, but the Giants job, man, I think you're going to be staring up at the Eagles, the Cowboys, and maybe even Washington if they can get their quarterback figured out for a long time. And the Giants have they've one bad mistake after another. They held on to Eli way too long.
This draft is a huge transitional moment for them. They have, I think, 2 picks in the top 10. And if both those guys don't become blue chip all pro players, that's my point, Steven. They have no cap space. They're going to ride with Jones for another year. I mean, if you miss on the guys in this draft,
you're stuck with it because you would love to make the move for Russell Wilson or someone, but like y'all just talked about, with no cap space, that's tough.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was this bad. I just looked it up. When I say no cap space, I mean they have negative $6.5 million in cap space right now.
Yep, and their line sucks. Mm-hmm. They paid Kenny Galladay $72 million, and the Lions' left tackle scored more touchdowns than he did. I love it.
I mean, I think that's your answer is that they have to put the picks into the offensive line and maybe bring in a defensive guy. I don't think Flores wants the job, but maybe go out and get a defensive guy to try to build that defense. Maybe go get Dan Quinn. Man, were they arguing about that yesterday in New York? But I don't think Dan Quinn's a terrible hire because he's going to be the transitional guy. Whoever the Giants hire, that guy's not the guy that gets them to the Super Bowl. That's the guy that you're like, he's your Willie Taggart, man.
Or your David Culley.
He's going to take some L's. He's going to, but he's going to get paid handsomely, and it'll all work out for him. All right, let's go ahead and get into our locks and our one big things. We try to run on out of here. Man, I wrote all over this, so I got to start this all over again. The first ones were Josh Allen over 49.5 rushing yards, and that was by Joey. And then did Tones take the Rams Bucs under?
I heard him taking the under on some game. I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. I had it written down wrong. I had it crisscrossed. Tones took the under on the Rams Bucs game. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to Bobby. Bobby, what is your lock of the weekend?
My lock, and since the spread is so close, it's Chiefs money line. it actually has a better return than some other lines. But yeah, I got Chiefs money line. I think I think
be
they're gonna be able to force
spread.
a what? Oh, it does.
Yep, I tried that once.
I think it's -1.5. Then it's
it's
not
right
not much. So I'm confident in either way, honestly. But I think the Chiefs will win. I think they'll force a couple turnovers on Allen. Allen's, he makes some risky throws, and that Chiefs defense has been good at forcing turnovers. Since they've kind of turned it around. So I like the Chiefs today. I think it's going to be a close game, or tomorrow. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a lot of action, and I think the Chiefs are going to come out on top, though.
All right, Sean, what say you?
I haven't heard it yet, so nobody took the Titans against the spread, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, Titans -4. That's my lock. It's also my one big thing. I think it's Tennessee's time. I think all the stars have aligned, and Buffalo and Kansas City are gonna have a track meet and beat the bejesus out of each other. And whoever comes in here next week is gonna be in for a long day with the king back up on his feet. So Titans -4.
You're just putting the kiss of death on them, man. Like, this is just ridiculous.
I will have
Stay in
you
your
know,
lane with your stupid Lions and quit screwing my team over, man.
I will have you know. First of all, I've lived in Nashville since 1991. Knock it off.
But you never have Titans gear on. You always have like Colts gear on.
It's not because I don't own any. I have plenty of Titans gear. I was 6-0 on the money line.
That is not a flex.
Week.
Okay, but anyways, go ahead.
I was 6-0 on the money line last week, and I got the receipts to prove it on my Caesars app. So I'm on a good run the last couple of weeks, and I think that's carrying over.
All right, Steven, what is your lock?
My lock, I'm going San Fran +5.5 today. I think this game is going to be really close. I think we're going to see it not necessarily like a high scoring shootout, but this will be a competitive game throughout.
My lock of the day is going to be give me the Rams and the points. I've just got this feeling that they are on a Cinderella run that may take them all the way to the Super Bowl. And I'm getting this feeling like we might get a California NFC championship game, which I know no one really wants. The TV market doesn't realistically want it because you're going to have one half of the country. I mean, one part of the country watching and the rest not really caring. But I wouldn't mind seeing a San Francisco Rams rematch.
Some of the best championship games have always been rematches. And I mean, Tennessee and Buffalo played each other, and Tennessee and KC played each other, and Rams Niners was just, what was that, 3 weeks ago? It was a classic. So
Real
weeks ago?
Real quick, since the games are going down today, Sean, you already gave your prediction for the Titans game. What's your score in the San Francisco game?
I've got Packers 31, Niners 17. And I just think San Francisco's Cinderella slipper falls off this week. It's just too much for them to overcome in Green Bay.
Steven?
What, the score for that game?
For the 2 games today.
2 games today, Cincinnati and Tennessee. I'm going to go 30-20 there. I think it's going to be close, but Tennessee will end up coming out ahead. And then, like I said, I like the 49ers to cover, but I think the Packers will end up winning in the end. I'm going to call that 24-21 Green Bay.
What's your one big thing?
Aaron Rodgers gets over the hump of the 49ers in the playoffs and finally gets that one win.
Bobby, give me the scores for the games today and your one big thing.
Yeah, I'll start with the 49ers game. I think I'm with the other two. I think Rodgers is going to get over that hump. I think he's going to get the win today. I'll say 28-20 Packers win. And then for the Titans-Bengals game, I like being a little bit more high scoring. I think Henry's going to get in the end zone a couple times today. So I got Titans winning. I'll say 31-23.
I am sticking with 30-20 for the Titans, and I will take the 49ers to upset the Packers tonight. Low scoring ground game. I'll say 23-21. Bobby, I don't think I got your one big thing.
One big thing, I'm going to say Titans and Chiefs. They rematched in the AFC Championship game from a couple years ago. I think hopefully the Titans come out on top this time, but I think we're going to see those two go at it.
I got Titans versus KC as well as a rematch, and I got a California NFC Championship game. All right, we will see y'all next Saturday, and that'll be the last show until Super Bowl weekend. So everyone have a great rest of your day, and tighten up, man. Oh, by the way, I just got good news from Amazon. My dog's Derrick Henry jersey is en route. It's 3 stops away. And
there you go.
She was born in Yulee, which is where Derrick Henry's from. So that's a good omen for Titans fans.
Hopefully she'll get to use it this season.
Well, if it shows up the next 3 stops, look, if that bastard runs out of gas, I'll just meet him.
Right, good luck, everyone.
All right, see y'all next week.
See you guys. Have a good one.